Hello and welcome to a whole new season of Backstage Buzz on our beautiful new set. I'm excited to give you the inside story and the art scene right from the directors and creators of the shows, along with events hosted at the MAC. I'm Diana Martinez and we have a great episode in store for you today. First, we welcome very special guest Rohina Malik to the show. In October, Rohina will bring her one-woman play to the MAC, which she not only created and wrote, but also stars in. Next, Kurt Naebig, the director of Buffalo Theatre Ensemble's The 39 Steps, will share a little about what audiences can expect from BTE's first show of the season. And last up is professional musician and principal trumpet of the MAC's own new Philharmonic Orchestra, Wesley Skidgel. Wes will play a selection from Mahler 5, the symphonic masterpiece that will open up the new Phil's upcoming concert season. So let's get started. Rohina Malik is no stranger to the College of DuPage. Earlier this year, in March, she presented her one-woman play, Unveiled, as a free event in the student lounge at the Campus Central. The performance was such a huge hit with the faculty and staff that I felt compelled to ask her if she would please consider coming back to share her story again with the rest of our community. I am thrilled to say that she agreed and just as excited to welcome her to the show. So welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So much is happening with you right now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is crazy. Since we made our deal, and then I think I read in the newspaper the next day, you got a call from who?
The Goodman Theatre.
The Goodman Theatre wants to present your work.
Yes, my play Yasmina's Necklace, which is a story about an Iraqi refugee in Chicago. And this play is moving to the Goodman. It started off at the 16th Street Theatre in Berwyn and had a production there a year ago. And it got a Jeff nomination for Best New Play. And then the Goodman came to see it, and then I get this email saying we want to produce it, and it was such a dream come true.
I mean, that's huge. You're in the big time now. Like, you're in the stage with Tracy Letts and all those other, I mean, that's where you're at now.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Now, you know, a lot of people say overnight success. How long have you been writing?
20 years.
So there's no such thing as
There's no such thing as overnight success. It's years of hard work. There was a time where I was flying to New York and renting space and putting up readings and paying actors and inviting industry to come and see my work. Nobody would come. I'd go back and do it again. Nobody would come. And it felt like nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody's paying attention. But I kept focusing on my craft. I kept focusing on the writing. And you believed in
yourself.
I believed in myself, and I focused on the writing. And I knew if I focus on the writing, one day they will show up. And when they do, it's going to be strong.
Now tell me, what do you think has changed to make people want to hear this message now?
I think that there is a real interest in diversity. There's an interest in hearing from voices that we don't often hear from on the American stage.
And understanding.
And understanding. If you look at the current climate with everything that's going on in the Middle East, there's a lot of stereotyping when it comes to Muslims and Arabs. So I think what my work does is present the vast majority of Muslims who are just normal people. And that's something we don't see often on the media.
Right.
We don't see Muslims as normal people. And that's one thing that my work helps smash stereotypes.
Right.
And that's really important right now.
Tell us about the play that people are going to come see at the MAC. You play 5 different characters.
It's called Unveiled. And each of the 5 women tell a story of how their lives changed or were impacted after 9/11. So it deals with anti-Muslim bias, it deals with racism, it deals with bigotry. It's also a very funny play.
Okay.
But the thing about the play is it gives voice to different Muslim women, and it shows people that you can't put Muslims in one box. There's
just like you can't put anybody in any group in one box.
Exactly, you can't. But there's so many different ways of doing things. Like when it comes to covering the hair, one character, she's a young hip hop artist. She has a very feminist sort of spin on why she covers her hair. Another character in the play refers to the hijab, the scarf, as something with modesty and her faith in God. And so even something as the veil has different interpretations, different reasons why Muslim women wear it. And I wanted to show that diversity, that a lot of people are very curious about, you know, the way Muslim women dress. I wanted to address that and get past it, because sometimes I really feel like there's too much obsession about what women are wearing or not wearing. And I find that really disturbing and offensive. So the way I handle it in my play is that I don't completely ignore that aspect. I deal with it, and then I move on to more important issues, such as discrimination, such as hate crime, such as things that are happening right now, rhetoric that's really ugly. And my play addresses all of those things, which I think is really important.
It is an important time. And I think it's an important time for just simply understanding it's one thing, right? It's just a piece of clothing.
Yes.
Move on.
Move on. And what people don't realize often about negative stereotypes is where they can lead. When I was writing Unveiled, I did a lot of research on hate crime. And what I found was that hate crime never begins with the weapon. It never begins with a gun or a bat or a knife. It begins with an atmosphere of two things: negative stereotypes and degrading language. And when those two things are left unchallenged, the result can be a murder. So it's very serious, and that's why I felt as a writer, I can take those negative stereotypes and I can address them and I can challenge them through art, through playwriting, through performance. And it's been amazing seeing the response from audiences.
Well, maybe, if you ask me, everything is for a reason. And I think this was your time.
Maybe.
I mean, there isn't been a more poignant time, I think, in our history about all of this. It's constantly in the news. It's constantly being talked about. And I think people, there's a group of people who have their arms open to embrace and understand and learn and connect and, you know, put down the stereotypes and all of that. And I think that once you connect and you understand and you talk, we realize we're way more similar than different. You know, we are all way more similar than different.
Oh my
you know,
goodness.
and it's, I always, when I travel and you're sitting there having ice cream somewhere, I'm like, none of us can communicate. None of us know, but we're all having the best time looking at that sunset, eating our ice cream. We're all pretty basic, you know? We want the basic human things, you know, that bring us and draw us together. And I think once we can start to communicate, and that's a big reason I wanted to bring you back and to have your message and your story told and shared, because I think we have to just start talking.
We do.
And understanding.
And a lot of people don't realize how similar we all are, how we all have the same worries, the same fears.
Sure.
When I turn on the news and I see extremists, I'm just as concerned as anybody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe more so because I know my community is going to be blamed for the actions of crazy people.
Right.
And we're going to pay that price. So a lot of people don't realize that, and I think that the play opened people's eyes in that way because it deals with that. It deals with backlash. It deals with discrimination. And it's been really powerful because it's theater. And the beautiful thing about theater is it brings people together.
It does.
It creates a safe space where you can have dialogue. And that's why after both performances at the MAC, I'm going to do a short post-show discussion where the audience can ask me questions and we can have a dialogue.
Awesome. That's lovely. I am so happy for you.
I'm so
really
excited.
And I can't wait to go see your show at the Goodman.
Oh, thank you.
And I wish you the best, because as a female playwright, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. On top of a female, you know, talking about religion and race, that's a big bag to carry.
Yeah.
You have a big responsibility that you put on, really, if you think about that.
Yeah, and I just feel like perseverance is something that I teach my children, and I just keep going. You know, every day you just have to focus on the positive.
That's right.
Because life is so beautiful. Yes, there's ugliness out there. There's hate, there's violence. But I always say to my children, what can you do to make it better? And that's what we have to focus on. Focus on the positive. Focus on what we can do to make the world a better place. And for me, in high school, I discovered that it was theater.
Rohina, thank you so much. And you do have something actually opening in New York, don't you?
Yes, my play The Mechatels will have its New York premiere with Voyage Theatre Company this October. So New York, look out, here I come.
Oh my gosh, there you go. Well, then it's already happening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Rohina Malik will star in Unveiled, a one-woman play, and it will be at the MAC in the Playhouse Theater on October 15th for 2 performances at 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. Tickets can be purchased at the Mac and Arts Center box office or online at themac.org or by calling 630-942-4000. Don't miss our season kickoff party on September 30th. Join us before Tuesdays with Maury, starring Jamie Farr, to help celebrate the start of another great season here at your home for entertainment. Support the MAC while sampling tasty appetizers from our great dining partners such as Parker's Restaurant and Bar, Carlucci's Italian Restaurant, Glen Ellen's Reserve 22, and Houlihan's. There will also be beer tastings from Two Brothers Brewery and a fabulous silent auction item with tickets from all over Chicago and plays like Broadway in Chicago, dinner certificates from Let Us Entertain You, and much more. After the show, there'll be coffee and desserts provided by Nothing But Cakes and a meet and greet appearance with a cast of Tuesdays with Maury, and the star of the show himself will be there, Jamie Farr. You might remember Jamie Farr as the funny and outrageous Klinger in the Emmy Award-winning TV show MASH. Tuesdays with Maury opened in Toronto to rave reviews, and we are thrilled to bring the show to the MAC. For tickets, please visit the box office, or you can purchase tickets online at themac.org or over the phone by calling 630-942-4000. Kurt Naebig is a Buffalo Theatre Ensemble member who is directing the company's first play of their 17-18 season, The 39 Steps. This fast-paced whodunit farce, made famous by Alfred Hitchcock early in his career, is sure to be a thrilling start to BTE season. Welcome to the show, Kurt.
Thanks.
So tell us about this show.
Okay, so the play takes place in 1935, and there's a guy named Richard Hannay who wakes up one morning. He's suffering kind of a general malaise about life. He's unhappy. He doesn't know what to do. He decides to solve it by going to the theater. And while he's at the theater, he runs into a mysterious, intriguing, beautiful woman with a German accent who begs him for help. He says, okay, and it turns out the help that she needs is she has an international secret that will save the world from the march forward of the Nazis. He says, okay, and the show begins as he starts trekking across the world to deliver this to who he does not know. Meanwhile, he's being followed by those who want him to not give the secret up to the Allies.
Oh, wow, this is really deep.
Yeah. It's exciting, but it's based on a play by Alfred Hitchcock, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So we've got this Hitchcock play that a number of years ago, a couple actors and a writer put together and decided, let's do a play with 4 characters in which they play every single character in the movie, 33 scenes, many, many, many characters. It's zany, it's fun, it's exciting, it's globe-trotting. It's just a really great night at the theater.
So you have 4 actors playing how many characters?
Well, it's debatable. Like some theaters have said 150, some theaters say 50. I say lots. Lots and lots.
Okay. So now I was actually talking to your costume designer, and she said you requested to have some of the pieces come in early because they're probably changing a lot, right?
Yes. So on stage, sometimes an actor will be talking to another character and say, well, we're going to go over here in a minute, and then boom, they'll plop on a hat, and then they'll be talking like this to them about something else. And then they'll put on the hat, and they'll say, well, what I want to do is say this. So it's like, it's fast, it's zany, it's amazing.
So I think that's awesome. So you're trying to integrate all the costumes so that it's seamless.
Yes.
Get them used to the hat changes or the costume changes or whatever.
That's why we're doing it early. So last night was one of the first nights with the hats. I mean, there's one scene where a guy's got 4 hats that he's juggling in his hand as he switches back and forth from multiple characters, while still acting as if he's on a train and doing this while we're dealing with lighting, sound, and other actors.
That is a lot to keep track of.
Yeah. It is.
So this is a great directing piece, I'd imagine, right?
Oh, God, it's exciting. It's you know, I mean,
Because what the audience doesn't realize, it doesn't matter how many actors are playing the parts. You're directing 150 characters. That's your job.
yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
Right?
Yes, yes. But you know, it's fun. I mean, we got a show with we've got romance, we've got gunplay, we've got fog, we've got dialects, we've got cross-dressing, we have shadow puppets, we have an evil genius, and a happy ending.
That is a lot to manage.
Yeah.
When does the show open?
It opens on the 8th of September, and it runs through the 8th of October.
So you're a couple weeks out.
Yeah, we're a couple weeks
How you
out.
feeling? Good.
Excited, encouraged, a little bit nervous, but I know that'll pass. Today, right after I meet with you, I'm going to be meeting with the guy who puts together the sound design, and we're going to have more than 150 sound cues in the show. It's an undertaking.
Well, you do a great job. I've seen one of your shows before, and I like that you layer a lot of things, like the sound and the costumes, and I think that's what gives the show depth, right?
Yes.
You know, it's not just up to the actor, it's all the costume and the lights and the sound. Everything is helping us as an audience know we're in a new place, we're in a new character.
Exactly. Everything supports, and I think that's what makes Buffalo Theatre Ensemble an ensemble. The fact that, you know, everybody's working together to integrate this and make a piece of art that involves a number of talented people.
What's the most challenging part of the show for you?
I think the challenge is going to be in the next week or so when
Pulling
we
it
start.
together?
Yeah, you know, because you'll have a sound and you realize, oh, the sound needs to be a half a second longer, and then the lights come in and you go, oh wow, the lights don't look quite the way I want. We need to point them a little bit different here. And then you realize, oh, the actor's in the wrong place for the light to hit them in the face the right way. So it becomes this really kind of technical situation. At first, it's really fun doing the acting, but then at that point in time, it's move a half a foot, wait a half a second, jump a little bit further, and then.
Because it all matters.
Yep, and then you just hope the magic happens for the audience the way it's happening for us.
I know it will. You know, BTE, you've been up a year now.
Right.
And you're an ensemble member. How long have you been in the ensemble?
I think I've been an ensemble member since about 1993.
It's a
I
while.
go back a long time, yeah.
And-
I'm older than I look, I think, I hope.
No, you look great. So, Kurt, do you enjoy being more on stage or behind, or directing, or what's your favorite
It's funny.
hat to wear?
I'm going to be acting in the next show, Time Stands Still. I love acting.
I love that show.
Good, I'm glad. Right, good. I love acting. I think I've grown to like directing a little bit more, and it's just because when I'm directing, every night I feel progress. I feel like things are moving forward. And as an actor, I'm a little bit neurotic, and I always feel like I'm never going to get there before opening. So I spend a lot of time kind of internally upset. And I don't feel that much when I'm directing.
You have a little more confidence.
Yeah.
It's fun too.
Yeah.
It's fun to see. It's fun to see everybody else grow.
And if you're doing comedy, you show up and you laugh like crazy all night long, and then you go home and sleep, and then you wake up the next day and you laugh some more.
That is true. That's awesome. That's a
Yes.
great way to look at it. So how do you feel about BT? How's it going so far?
I think it's going great. We are, you know, I think we had a really successful last year. We got Jeff recommended for a show. Our audience attendance is as good as it's ever been, and we got a great slate of shows for this year.
I think it's actually come in strong, really strong, because I think a lot of people are like, well, they're gonna have to build back up, and it was just like, bam, it came right back.
Oh, we had extra energy after that little break.
Yeah. Kirk, thank you so much for coming on the show. We wish you the best of luck. I know it's gonna be a huge hit.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. The 39 Steps will be in the MAC in the Playhouse Theater September 7th through October 8th. Performances will begin at 8 p.m. Thursday through Saturday and at 3 p.m. on Sundays. Tickets can be purchased at the McIntosh Art Center box office or online at themac.org, or just call 630-942-4000. Visit the MAC in September for our first National Theater Live screening of the season. No Man's Land is a Harold Pinter classic. It's played to sold-out audiences in London and starred the dynamic Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart. Screenings are on the 14th at 7 p.m. and the 17th at 2 p.m. Sure to be impressive and engrossing, Boston Globe journalist Mike Resendez comes to the MAC on October 3rd at 7 p.m. to share about his role in uncovering one of the greatest controversies in modern history that inspired the Academy Award-nominated film Spotlight. Back by popular demand on October 13th at 7:30 p.m., the Hitmen will once again provide a night to remember as they play their way through the hits from famous collaborators like Carole King, Cat Stevens, Frankie Valli, Carly Simon, The Who, and more. On October 14th at 7:30 p.m., come enjoy a night of triumphant stories and songs of hope from the inspiring Grammy and SOCAN award-winning musicians Olivia Newton-John, Beth Nielsen Chapman, and Amy Skye as they perform together in Live On. Then, on October 15th, in an event which is sure to delight the whole family, the martial artists and acrobats of Tai Jin of the People's Republic of China will amaze audiences with incredible acrobatic, magical, and physical feats for 2 performances at 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. The first concert of the new Philharmonic Orchestra's 17-18 season is Mahler 5. This famous work should pack an emotional punch since it'll be performed with a giant 70-piece orchestra. The symphony opens with a beautiful, iconic trumpet solo, and here to give you a preview is the trumpeter himself, Wes Skidgel. Awesome. That was wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. You know, I have never sat this close to somebody who was playing the trumpet. Is most of the sound just from the power of your blowing into the horn?
Yeah, yeah.
I did not see you breathe one time. Where, when, and how are you breathing?
Oh,
through your nose?
I breathed a couple times that are quick and just through my mouth, and sometimes through your nose, depending. But I think for this, it was mostly through my mouth.
What's the hard? That's a hard, imagine, piece to play. Yes, because
Yeah.
it's so sustained.
Well, that and you're starting the whole piece by yourself. I mean those soft triplets at the beginning, and it's actually on a kind of one of the worst notes on the trumpet.
Oh, is
actually,
it?
Yeah. So to come in by yourself, like that, it can be a little bit
Unnerving.
nerve-wracking, yeah.
And the orchestra you're going to be playing with is 70 pieces, 70 people.
Mm-hmm.
So no pressure.
Yeah. Well, when they all come in, it'll be a little.
It'll be a little comforting.
Yeah.
So in terms of music for a trumpeter, is this Mahler 5 one of the better pieces for you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's got one of the more famous trumpet solos. It's on every trumpet audition, and it's something I've been listening to since the end of high school at least. And it's a very Mahler in particular is something that trumpet players like a lot because he writes a lot of great stuff for trumpet players. I mean, he writes a lot of great stuff for all the instruments, but in particular trumpet, there's a lot of.
It's so majestic and powerful.
Yeah, there's a lot of heroic stuff. I mean, it runs the gamut though. Even in particular this symphony. I mean, we have any type of playing you want. There's technical stuff. There's lyrical, beautiful lyrical playing. There's soft playing. There's loud playing.
So this song that you just played, this little clip. What is the challenge in this? The technical. What is the?
This one has a little bit of all the above because there's some tonguing at the beginning and it's on a wonky note, and it's by yourself, right. But it also gets loud and you have to be able to control your sound and and also being able to the dramatic part of it as
sure.
Well. Because I mean if you notice the beginning is very simple. It's da 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 da, and if you just played it without any inflection, it'd be kind of boring. You're like, why are they just playing the same note over again?
Right.
And the first line and a half only has 2 notes, 2 different pitches you're playing. So that's part of the challenges too is building the drama of it and making sure that it's exciting, even though you're giving very minimal.
Did a great job
To work with. So.
How long have you been playing?
Since I was in 4th grade, so I don't know, do the math.
We won't out you on your age. So tell me, in terms of your career, where did you study?
I studied I did my bachelor's degree in trumpet performance at Wheaton College.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so right in town, near town.
Sure.
Here. And then I went and did my master's at DePaul,
Good for you.
where I studied with John Hagstrom, who plays in the Chicago Symphony.
Where else do you play besides Neufeld?
All over the place. I play sometimes in Iowa, sometimes in Michigan, different places around, Chicago, Indiana. So yeah, all over the place.
And in terms of, do you just do classical? Do you do jazz? Do you do all kinds of music?
I do mainly classical.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't call myself a jazz musician. I don't want to insult anyone
You don't
who
want to
actually
insult
plays,
the jazz musician?
Yeah, anyone actually plays jazz. But if you give me, like a jazz solo that's written out, I can, I feel like I can fake it enough for most people. Maybe someone who really knows jazz.
You faked it for me. I bought it. Tell us about Neufeld. How long have you been with Neufeld Orchestra?
I don't know the exact time. I've played 4 or 5 years, something like that. Yeah.
Well, it's been a great year for the orchestra. You guys won Orchestra of the Year, and it's just been a really successful time, I think.
And the summer concerts went really well, I thought.
Didn't they?
Yeah.
So what's next for you?
This is definitely a high on the priority list, though. It's probably the next biggest thing that's coming up for me. I have some other smaller stuff, but this is definitely the next big thing on my calendar. And then I'm playing a solo for some educational concerts in October with one of Kirk's other orchestras.
Oh, nice.
The Northwest Indiana Symphony. It's a Spanish bullfighter solo called the La Virgen de la Macarena. It made an appearance in an iPhone commercial recently.
No way.
The one where there's the guy jumping off the high dive into the water.
Oh, wow.
So that solo was.
So Wes, for a young person who might want to play the trumpet, what advice would you give to them?
Well, first of all, you need to get a good teacher to show you how to set up properly and use the right amount of air. But yeah, I think the first things first is making sure you have someone that knows what they're talking about to show you how to do it. Because there's a lot of technical stuff in trumpet that, it's I wouldn't say any more so than many other instruments, but I think like any instrument, like there's things that you can do right off the bat that'll put you ahead. And there's things that you can do if you're doing wrong right off the bat that will give you a harder time later on.
And practice, right?
Yeah, absolutely, practice.
How many hours a day do you practice?
At least 3, usually more.
Holy cow, 3 hours a day?
Yeah.
Every day?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes if I have a heavy, like when we're playing Mahler 5, I won't practice 3 hours because the trumpet players have to sit, we have muscles we have to use. So, right. But on a day when I don't have a big performance or something, it's at least 3, usually a little more.
Well, thank you for coming and taking time out of your rehearsing schedule to be with us.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks. This has been a pleasure.
Thank you. The new Philharmonic will have 2 performances of Mahler 5 on Saturday, September 23rd at 7:30 p.m. and Sunday, September 24th at 3 p.m. Tickets can be purchased at the Mackinac Arts Center box office or online at themac.org, or you can call 630-942-4000. That's all the time we have for today, but be sure to tune in next month for even more behind-the-scenes insight on our next episode. On behalf of the Mackinac Arts Center and the College of DuPage, I'm Diana Martinez, and thanks for watching. We look forward to seeing you at the theater and next time on Backstage Buzz.